To the Acer team, Stray Cat boys and girls. This is game number 3. Score is currently 1-1. I've got a little in-game scoreboard up here in the top right. Hopefully it's not too invasive, but hopefully it's eye-catching enough that you can catch it yourselves. It's a best of 1 between each of these players, but it's a best of 9 between these two teams. Each player gets a win, puts a point towards their team. Pretty simple stuff. Spawning here in the top left corner of the map, he's the blue Terran from Invictus Gaming. It is XY.
And in the top right, we got our Swedish red Zerg player playing for Team Fnatic. It is Zanster.
So I know you were a little bit happy to see Zanster today. You're a little bit excited about this very good Zerg player.
I was. I do like watching Zanster play.
I do think Fnatic do have some very strong Zergs, and again, like, the reason we kind of talk about what's going to be good versus bad is Invictus Gaming, he's a very weird roster, guys. I'd say they have a very imbalanced team, not like in the terms of, like, they're OP, but like they really, you take into consideration the team like, say, Axiom or Team Liquid, right? Like, they all have really good players that are all really good at the same level. Invictus Gaming, I would say, varies pretty hard. You got some players who are just fantastically above the rest. You got some that are pretty darn good, like XY. And you got a couple on the team where we're kind of like, who the hell is this guy, really? Fnatic, on the other hand, same kind of concept. They're not exactly all your next GSL champions, but they're all really good, is the thing. I mean, for a long time, too, like, Zanster and Mini Razor were two players I kind of thought were always pretty good players. I never would have ever in my life called them bad. But in recent days, they have been kicking ass and taking names. I mean, Zanster in the Acer Team Story Cup, when he dethroned Scarlet, I was like, whoa. Because it wasn't like he barely won versus Scarlet, and he didn't cheese versus Scarlet. He just straight up won.
Yeah. Yeah, they both Mini Razor and Zanster has been, you know, getting better and better. Taking down big names left and right.
I don't like the Reaper coming out of XY though. Unless he goes for like 1 or 2. Please don't do the new standard of 3 though. Habitation Station is such a bad map for Reapers.
Yeah, I think that was 12 racks, 12 gas. So normally I think when you go 3 Reaper, you go 11. So it should be 2 Reapers, and yeah, especially because of the map as well. Would be weird to see 3 Reapers.
You know, I was really glad, by the way, yesterday we got to see Bunny do the Hellion into Hellbat push that we've been talking a little bit about lately.
Yeah.
Boy, did that give me so many nerd shells. I'm kind of hoping XY's got it in him to do a similar type of move. Again, because it's so new, we're going to keep talking about this, guys. It's not just for time filler, but it is important and worth noting. Your standard Hellion push has become a little bit stronger because with the armory down, you no longer need the upgrade for transformation servos. It's automatic. So Hellions that you retain from that early sort of 2 Reaper 6 Hellion combo can now transform into Hellbats for that secondary push, making them even more deadly. Ooh, that was close.
Yeah. Indeed. And as for Zanster opener-wise, he did go for 10 Scout to make sure he's not getting proxy, just playing nice and safe, and then the 15 Hatch. Followed by, you know, Pool and Gas for speed, and he's gonna pull workers off Gas. Yeah, okay, so just playing normal. Gonna leave 1 worker on Gas.
Well, actually, you know what? I didn't bring any attention to that, but it is a very good point. Well, we got the Reapers dancing around, guys. That earlier scout was huge. This map is so notorious for 11-11 racks because this is one of the few you could do the triple bunker block at the top of the ramp as well to just completely shut somebody out. So, big props to Zanster for having done that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is tempting for every Zerg player to just not scout for those proxy racks at all. But yeah, this map in particular, it is quite common to go for that 11-11. So.
Third TC is on the way. We got the natural just finishing up here, turning into the orbital as well, and Hellion's coming out in due time. So for XY, I mean, he's in a pretty good spot as far as your standard stuff goes, but he did not get a lot done with these Reapers, sadly. Not even a drone kill, and I don't think he even killed a Zergling. No, not even a Zergling kill.
Yeah, he didn't. Did he kill a creep? No, I guess Zanster just didn't make the creep tumor yet because he was afraid of it getting sniped. Maybe because he's got that creep queen with almost 50 energy now, so that's a little bit surprising.
You know, one of the things too, like, you kind of assume, you know, killing Lings isn't a big deal, but it really is, because if you don't kill these first 6, that's larva he doesn't have to spend on another 6. That's just pure drones after that type thing.
Yeah, and you can, if you want to use those 6 like as a kind of like a rumbar, like now. I mean, there's Hellions in natural now, but you can kind of use them to, you know, be cheeky like that. But kind of thinking, Zanster's mining 1 work on gas still. I'm thinking, is he gonna get like Overlord speed or something, or maybe he just likes having that little bit of gas for later on. We'll have to see.
Remember when the Overlord speed got changed to tier 1? There's so much debate about, like, what was the most effective. Like, do you just go for it before layer? Do you go for layer and just get the overseer anyways? I mean, now we just don't see anyone really care about it, which is hilarious.
Yeah. I mean.
Oof.
Close that.
Ouch.
But especially with this new patch, I mean, stuff like Hellwood Banshee is gonna be pretty popular, and you know, it seems like people are favoring getting the lair like nice and early to be able to scout a bit more. But I personally like getting the upgrades quickly to go into the mid game. But yeah, it's people have a lot of different preferences, and Zanster not even throwing down the evos yet. He might be going for a quick Muta or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sad because he's swapped over to Dota at this point. But Happy Zerg would always be the guy who does the tier 1 overlord speed, and I don't know. I thought it was really good. I think a big part of why it's become less of a problem too, though, is because this matchup's become a lot more predictable. Like, you know what a Terran player is going to open with. You know it's 6 Hellions and 2 Reapers. It's very rarely going to be anything else.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I used to do Overlord speed for a while, but lately, yeah, not really been doing it so much because there's not really that much to scout. You don't really see a lot of funky 2-base strats anymore. But now with the with the patch coming out, I'm kind of starting to think maybe it's worth it, but I'm still not quite sure.
Well, against players like Bunny, certainly, because that's the type of guy who's going to do like your aggressive moves. We unfortunately don't know enough about XY to say whether he's been like prominently one of those players, but he's got some really good control of these Hellions so far. He lost that first one earlier, and I kind of was like, oh boy, this guy's going to lose all his Hellions. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be a massacre, but dancing in and out, he's not been able to pick out the creep too much, which I think is a little more important than the Lings, to be honest, but he's been getting some pretty good work done with the Hellions.
Indeed, resources lost, Zanster lost, 400 more resources than XY, so nicely done.
Yeah, but again, it's mostly Lings, right? These are pretty much the most expendable units in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, that's sure, but you could also argue, like, if he loses a bunch of links, he might be thinking, like, shit, I need to replace those links now, and then that could cut into his drone production, and now we see the third going down for XY already, like, around the 930 mark it went down, I think, so...
I think this is a lot influenced by the fact that he's got so much control with the Hellions. Zanster's not been moving out, he's not been poking around. It's also worth noting, too, it's a small detail, but it is a very important one. Zanster has been focusing on the Reapers a lot of the time, because his Queens have kind of been on that auto-attack move, not really focusing the Hellions. Otherwise, XY would have been sent back home a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah, that's quite likely. And we do... So, Zanster did go for the Spire, it seems, before the upgrades. So that's quite interesting. He's mining 6 gas now. Should be throwing down the 4th. There we go. And these are relatively quick mutas. Around 11 minutes, so a little bit early, I guess.
It's...
not super early, though.
Right, but the thing is, he doesn't actually have any coming. Like, nice Spire, bro. Now what?
Yeah, that's kind of why I argue that I don't really like the fast lair that much if there's not Banshees, because you don't really, like, when your lair is finished that early, you don't really have that much gas to spare anyway to make a bunch of mutas, but...
Gonna force a bit of an engagement here. Here comes those transformation servos, but a little bit too late, as the Banelings are already on top of them, but they take out so many of the Zerglings! The Marines have nothing to fear beyond this, except for a couple of Banelings that he focuses down immediately. With 1-1 on his side, those Zerglings don't stand a chance, and XY's push is gonna be somewhat unstoppable. Zanster just lost the majority of his units.
Nice focus fire on that Baneling there. That was so important for that engagement. If that Baneling connected there, it would have been...
Yeah, the transformation service too, it looked late, guys, because it takes a couple seconds, but if they had gotten one less volley off, like 20 more Lings would have been available for these Marines, instead of the, like, 8 and 4 Banelings that came through. So, for Zanster, the timing there was really unfortunate. For XY, the timing was really perfect.
Yeah, and Zanster's not going to be feeling too good right now. And look how much creep went down, and every creep queen went down, so he's got no more, queens to continue spreading this creep, and he's only got those 2 tumors in the middle of the map, and a few at the bottom, but... I mean, he's kind of in the dark right now. Muta's doing a bit of damage, though.
I felt like that engagement may have just been a little too strong, though. Because, we talked a little bit jokingly about the Zerglings and stuff, but the reality is there's not a lot of Banelings in play. There weren't a lot for that last engagement either. There's 6 in total on the map. And the thing is, without crazy creep spread, even if you've got Bane speed, you still never really want to engage off of creep unless you find, like, a perfect opportunity.
Oh, well, that run by gonna be caught as well. And I mean, yeah, like Zanster, he's not mining from his 4th, and he traded like really poorly. So if you trade that poorly and lose your creep, like you lose your creep and you trade poorly and you're not mining from your 4th, and XY, he's making his own 4th halfway done.
Always gotta be so careful with these Widow Mines.
Yeah, indeed. XY is looking in really good shape. He's gonna set up here with the Widow Mines.
There's no way he doesn't get this base. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, pretty much.
As long as he splits slightly from the banelings, the Widow Mine should be able to connect as well. Perhaps focusing a little too heavily on it, though, and not at all on his army. Now Force actually trying to focus his down kites around the mineral line. Can he stay away from these banelings, though? The answer's gonna be a big fat no. Everything gets demolished here from XY. That, yikes.
Except, unfortunate for Zanster, the Widow Mines. That's quite a big deal. There's like, what, like 4 Widow Mines still up?
You know what? Each of these Widow Mines does like 7 kills, 11 kills, 4 kills. I mean, they weren't too bad for that engagement, but...
Yeah, they kill a lot of Lings there in the start.
It's one of those weird scenarios where I think honestly, Hellbat's one of the better investments. You know, we're seeing a lot of players kind of swap over to that mentality because Widow Mines are they're such a gamble. Like, sometimes they're the best game-winning shot in the world, right? And then sometimes they get like 1 circling, you're like, great, fantastic, I'm so glad I made these.
Yeah, oh, and Zanster a bit lucky here, catching the Medivac just by chance. I don't think he saw it, or he might have, actually, with the Overlord, maybe.
Yeah, he's got some pretty nice vision, so... you know, XY never did go clean that up. This is why a lot of times too, guys, like why you invest in that earlier Viking. Like we see Pult do it all the time. We joke about calling them Pult Vikings. You know, it's free kills, whatever. But it also clears up the vision, so you can start doing these drops unhindered. Now you can't really go for the Viking because there's so many Mutalisks in play that if you do, Viking's just gonna be Mutalisk food, quite frankly.
Yeah, you could make like an earlier Viking, but I don't know. I mean, I tried to do that as well myself. Like usually just send the Overlords out like a bit later to make sure you don't, you know, lose them to a Viking, but. Yeah, the Vikings in TBC have not been seen for a while recently, from what I've seen anyway. But XY is looking... He's got 3-3 on the way now as well. Oh my god.
Oh, Widow Mine still got a hit off. Another hit goes off. These Mutas gotta be careful. 2 more Widow Mine hits and they're all dead.
Yeah, indeed, they are
he could focus
right
this with
now.
the Marauders. This hatchery is so freaking low. He could honestly focus this with the Marauders. Goes to the Queen instead. I mean, really, just take the base. Alright, Zergling's Baneling's gonna roll, and there's still a lot of Widow Mines to go off. They will get some pretty decent connects, but it's the Marines behind us that need to live for the Mutas, and that's the only thing that matters right now.
Yeah.
All these Banelings are trying to roll in. He's got to split, he's got to pick up. He's got to back away from this a little bit. Marauders with the concussor shells are helping a ton, and the Banelings are just not getting the connects that they need.
Yeah, the Marauders are like picking up these Banelings, and the base dies as well. That was just so hard for Zanster to engage into that with those Widow Mines down the ramp. Nice positioning by XY.
We had a double drop in the main while this is going on, so we didn't see that because we're focused on the 4th, but it looks like it did get cleaned up by Zanster, so...
And there's a Widow Mine actually still alive. That could be a nuisance. 10 kills on it already.
14 actually down over here, unless we're looking at different ones. But yeah, no, the Widow Mines are getting some decent connects so far this game. Medivacs are constantly being picked off, going to be a big problem here. He's still got 4 available, and that's great, but the thing is, with the Biot army in the excess of 50s, you can't really afford to stim off of 2 Medivacs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem too with Bio. Like, you have to stim. There's no choice of like, okay, I'm gonna go into this engagement and just choose not to stim. Like, if you do that, you're screwed.
Indeed.
Alright, well, that cheeky little Widow Mine is actually gonna move over here. However, it will go off on Larva. Oh, never mind. Yeah, we go an egg.
But yeah,
By the way,
has 3-3 finish now.
I can't help but wonder why do Zerg Carapace, like, why do they not just fashion like Zerg armor out of those eggs? Those eggs are so unkillable, dude. I mean, really. Whatever the eggs are made out of, they need to make that like the Ultralisk armor, right? Like, forget chitinous plating, get egg plating.
Yeah, man, those are some very strong eggs, that's for sure.
Alright, well, the Widow Mine's actually going to go off on a couple Marauders here at the start. Not a good way to begin this fight, but the Marines are so clumped up, he's got to split, goes behind the first round. Good control here out of XY. That looked a little bit messy for just a moment, but looks like he should be able to shut the space down again. And let's not forget, guys, not only is XY on 4 bases, one of those is a gold. Zanster did not pull the typical Zerg of taking the gold base up here, so he's really struggling to deal with this just massive production coming out of XY. It's 11 Marines, 3 Widow Mines, 2 Marauders, and 2 Medivacs at a time. This is like the perfect production for him.
Yeah, it looks like those Mutas might just barely be able to kill those Marines, but yeah, he just traded really badly there.
There were still like 11 Marauders under that, so that hatchery was going to go either way. But GG, well played by XY, for sure.
Oh,